In St. John's, there is a large police presence outside the Confederation building once again this morning because fish harvesters have returned to protest for a second day. They're looking to derail the release of Newfoundland's budget, but the province says the budget will be tabled. The provincial government secured an injunction yesterday to prevent a repeat of the clashes that happened. About 100 protesters confronted police, including officers on horseback, outside the House of Assembly. A protester and a police officer were injured. The fish harvesters say they are fighting for free market conditions in an industry they say is monopolized by a small cartel of companies. With me now is Glen Winslow, a fish harvester from the province, as well as an elected representative for Newfoundland's Food, Fish and Allied Workers Union. Good morning, Glen. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. First, I want to get your thoughts on the protests that have been happening. Do you support them? Do you feel that they are important? Give us your take.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. Yeah, I certainly do support them. I think what's happened here is fishermen have backed into a corner now, and a lot of fishermen, if we don't get something changed, if government do not change these rules, there's a lot of fishermen that are going to lose everything they got. It's not so bad if you're just losing your job, but they've got their homes on the line and their livelihood on the line. They've actually got to not only find a home if something don't change, they've got to find another career. So this is what's caused all this grief, and the government controls it, and it doesn't seem like they want to make the changes that are needed to put some fair competition back in this industry.
So the fish harvesters are calling for free enterprise. They want to be able to sell their catch to buyers outside of the province. Can you explain to our viewers what these restrictions in your mind mean for your livelihoods?
Yes, well, no, we don't want no product to go off the island. That's not the goal here. The ultimate goal here is to create some competition. And what is actually happening in Atlantic Canada, our companies can go anywhere in Atlantic Canada and buy fish species, bring them back to Newfoundland and process them. And they do not have to go through no red tape. They can actually just go on the wharf, compete for product and buy it and truck it to Newfoundland and process it. Newfoundland companies and fishermen in Newfoundland are not afforded the same opportunity. There is no one allowed to come in here and compete against the companies that are in Newfoundland. We cannot even take species that there's absolutely no processing on, like tuna, halibut, lobsters, herring. We have to sell it to a Newfoundland buyer, even though we'll offload it from the boat and it'll go on a truck and go straight to market on the mainland. I am not allowed to market that myself. I have to go through a Newfoundland company, and it's after creating a situation where 5 or 6 are after getting together and saying, now this is what we're going to pay because we have everything in our control.
Is the government listening to you? Have they been working with you to help ease some of these rules?
These rules have been in place in Newfoundland a lifetime. Last year it came to a head with a 6-week delay in the crab fishery, and we were promised by the government that they would change these rules. These are the people that have these rules in place. And it's like I told you, we do not want product to go off the island. We just want competition. If a company here knows that someone can come in and offer a better price, it makes them more competitive in the industry. And like that's what every business in Canada is built on competition. If you're going to open a business and you're not going to be competitive with a person that's next door to you or down the road, you're not going to be in business very long. But these companies here, I tell you, with us, they're making a profit, a big profit, and the primary producer, which is us who are supposed to be in business with them, we're going bankrupt. Now, how did that work when one group, the main group that catches the product, that's keeping rural Newfoundland alive and well and going and trying our best, is not making no money and actually losing money, but the people we're selling it to are flourishing. Like they're buying up plants and mothballing them, closing them up, and now we've got in a situation where we don't even have enough processing on the island. Fishermen are being told to tie on for 2 weeks at a time before they can go and sail again because there's not enough processing capacity on the island no more. And not only is it hurting, it's not it's taking jobs away that can be created, because if we could get our product processed faster, we can go at other species like cod and herring and shrimp that we can't even get out anymore because the crab fishery is delayed so long. So it's a major issue. We've sat down with our government and talked to them and talked to them, and they just will not change the rules. And it's sad to think that we have to come to what we're at today to try and bring it to the forefront, to get our politicians, our elected politicians, to make the necessary changes that needs to be made.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about that, because clearly the Premier was upset by the images that were being shown across Canada yesterday of the protests. We saw some scuffles between protesters and police, and this morning we have police in riot gear outside the legislature. Do you feel it had to come to that? I mean, do you regret that? What are your thoughts on what we've been seeing?
Well, here's what happened and transpired yesterday, okay? And we had over 1,000 people here yesterday, and we had a big crowd here again today. And when you have 1,000 people and they're spread out over, like, there's probably 6 entrances to this building, we have people there that are trying to keep it a peaceful demonstration. But you got to remember, when you have your livelihood on the line, when you have your home on the line, people are going to get frustrated on times, especially when the elected representatives are not listening to you and doing the things to fix the problem. Now, to yesterday's happenings, what happened, and you can clearly see it, to have 2 big horses going around in the crowd and pushing into the crowd trying to get in through, and 2 people end up getting injured. And that's what provoked the actions after that. It wasn't that we started it. The harvesters never started it. They were provoked into it by the by intimidated by the police, and it wasn't a nice situation. Today was a whole different thing here today. It was very peaceful, very respectful. Anyone who wanted to go in could go in for the budget. But you want to know what happened here today? The NDP opposition, the PC opposition, the Labour leaders stood with us outside and recognized that we have a problem here and our government has to fix it.
Yeah, this story is far from over. Glen Winslow, thank you so much for speaking with us. Glen is himself a fish harvester and an elected representative for Newfoundland's Food, Fish and Allied Workers Union.